no matter what. I am feeling great.
Hello friends, welcome back to Godlywood Studio. Welcome back to your favorite program, Light of Knowledge. You are aware that we are discussing about powers right now in this series. We have a lot of inner powers which can be used in a productive way. But being aware of these powers is one thing, and being able to use this power when situations come is quite another thing, because it needs practice. Practice makes us perfect. And today we are going to talk about the power of practice. It is one of the most cherished aspects of human mind. Whatever we want, we can achieve by constant and thorough practice. So let us understand the immense importance of this practice. What not is possible if we can continue with persistence, anything which we are doing. So as usual, we have Rupa Behenji. Let us have a discussion with her. Rupa Behenji, welcome to today's discussion.
Thank you.
All of us practice something or the other. It may be some value, it may be something which we want to achieve in the world. And in the simplest form, it can be our own handwriting, it can be our own ability to write or sing or dance or anything. There are such a lot of skills which we can practice. So, how can the power of practice help us in achieving what we want in life?
Practice itself makes man perfect in the area where he is aiming to reach the final success. Whether we are consciously practicing or not, but we are all doing something repeatedly. Sometimes in a mob, in a group, we are just doing what others are doing. Less we are aware that this becomes our strong habit in ourselves. Repeated action, whether we are willing to do or because everybody is doing, that's why I am also doing, but it becomes a habit. Habit in the sense, a strong personality trait. Then you need not have any practice, but it happens automatically.
Help yourself to create habits, and the habit later helps you. That is what the great psychologist said. So, creating a habit can take quite some effort from my part, because we find that we have certain traits in us which are not as good, and changing that, transforming that into new habits, take a little bit of effort from our part.
Usually, see, good things, if we want to retain, people always feel difficult. So-called bad things, either it is food habits or even mental polluted habits, to get rid of that people feel difficult. The simple reason, because when we want to drive away the darkness, again we have to bring the light. So when I am habituated with the wrong habits, either it is food system, what is happening, the result is I am spoiling my health. And therefore again to reset or make my health again good, it takes lot of effort.
Behenji, it is always said weeds grow on their own, but gardens need to be cultivated. It need to be given a lot of care. So, talking about the wrong practices of human beings, can you mention some of them which becomes quite damaging, like just like you said, the wrong practices in eating? How damaging this can be?
I like sweets. That's why I eat more jamun or more jalebi or whenever I feel like. So initially, as long as I am working hard, the body can really resist that one and get digest. So no bad effect. Later, when I am moving with the same habit, sometime I may not have more exercise. I don't do more hard work. At that time, my habit becomes stronger. Till yesterday, I was eating only 5 pieces of sweet, and that habit today it has become 10, and tomorrow it will become more. It is not going to be less. So, my habit of intake is moving forward. It is multiplying only, but my body cannot resist so much.
You need to exert a lot of self-control in order to escape from these kind of destroying habits.
That's why you see many doctors say, if you don't stop this, it will be a dangerous hazard for your health. Some patients say, doctor, even I am ready to die, but I don't want to live without taking sweets. It's only one example I am telling. But in other side, if we take another example like smoking and drinking liquor, which is commonly
These are
known.
also practices, right? These are also damaging practices. We might have started it for fun. We did it repeatedly and now I cannot live without it. So these kind of damaging practice, since it is very easy to practice, but it seems a little bit difficult to practice the good things which are beneficial. We have even heard that at least do a new practice to form a habit at least for 21 continuous days, so that at least in these 21 days, even if it feels like an effort, then it can feel very easy and it become a natural habit.
Of course, this I have heard from many people, 21 days, 40 days like that. But I have seen practically people who have left for 3 months, 6 months, even 1 year. Again, suddenly they will go revert back to the same old habit. This is because any incident which gives them little pain or little upset of their mood, or maybe it is not giving pleasant feelings, immediately they take the help of the old support. So it is not that only 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. Internally they have to determine to give up, that's all. See, even the poison is poison. Even I take after 1 month or 1 year or 2 years, a drop of poison or 1 glass of poison, everything is poison only. So a person should be realizing that what I am taking is absolutely wrong. So from today, I am giving up. Giving up means he should not turn back again. That needs lot of internal power. And that power, again, we call it as the power of determination. Now, that determination, how it comes to them? One thing, they should have deep love for themselves, deep love for their self-life, and second thing, self-respect.
So how can I make myself aware that my life is also very valuable? I can be also a contributing member.
Based on godly knowledge, we understand the habit that we form now, it doesn't end to this life itself. It is deep karma philosophy that whenever I am filling my soul with wrong habits, that negative traits or personality traits or sanskar, in other words, we understand, this sanskar or impressions take me to the same kind of group in next birth. That means I am creating my future fortune, determining that where I should be born, in which gathering, which place, and which type of atmosphere by now what I am doing. So if a person has got this awareness, then definitely he will start changing. And that's what here God teaches. How much ever you are having the bad negative habits, or even in physical level, or even mental pollution, like this is basically we are talking about intake system of the food to the body. But even mental pollution, we say talking ill about others, making fun of others, and some people have small things they go and tell to somebody, and that creates misunderstanding, and they will sit and see the fun, making both of them quarrel each other. These are all like damaging other people's feelings, and I am taking enjoyment. So this kind of mental pollution. Second thing, thinking vicious thoughts, which is spreading negativity in the vibration. So like that, if we see whatever it is damaging myself or others, which is called as negative habits. And the same habit can be formed in a positive side also. Power is the same. Either you choose negative or positive. When you are intaking the liquor or cigarettes or anything, you have chosen that wrong things. Instead of that, you can choose something good thing which is going to make your body energetic, make your body healthy, filled with some nutritious food. So this is also your choice. So choice must be accurate, for which your intellect should be decisive.
So Behenji, these negative practices or these damaging and self-destroying practices should be first found out and nipped in the bud. from childhood itself, especially because that is the time when these habits are forming, and these formative years later has a tremendous effect on our life, because then in childhood it is said a child is like a wet cement and it can be molded anyway. But when you become an adult, when things get set in the mind, there is a fixed framework, then it is not that easy to change. So how can we instill good habit from childhood?
See, all cannot have an opportunity to adopt all good things from childhood.
Hmm.
It is not true that even if I become old or young or adult, at that time I cannot change my habit system.
But it may be a bit difficult, because like a cloth which haven't been washed for 10 years, it takes time to get it completely
It
clean.
depends on my belief.
Mhm.
If I wish to change immediately, I
But the
determine.
accumulated dirt is already there. That is not a belief. That is a real fact. And I have accumulated dirt in my mind of many years. And even if I'm determined, I can do. But won't it take a little bit more time than usual?
The negative habits may come on my way, but here I am moving today towards right path. So this negative habits, whatever creating the obstacle or hindrance or tempting, just I have to say, let it go.
Hmm.
I don't come in action. Till yesterday I was eating lot of sweets, and today I have determined not to eat. But whenever I see sweets somewhere, I feel like eating. But don't eat. Not by force again. A new thing when you are forming, it should be with love and for your good self.
Mhm.
Then it is easy to adopt. And
But
maybe
what about that pull of that backward pull of these negative habits which I have accumulated over the years?
for that in meditation, whenever we sit in meditation, these negative habits, whatever we have formed so far, that will be giving again the thoughts, generated thoughts. Because whatever the sanskar we have within ourselves, based on that we are generating thoughts. And when I have realized, oh, these are the things which are negative in myself and in my life, and I want to change. And this good thought you have already feed in your mind. So when you sit in silence, whatever the old way of habits which have troubled you, and still it is there. So that will give temptation. But what God advises, whenever it comes in front of your mind, just observe and don't act. Let it come once again, don't act. So, what happens when you have not brought that thought into action? The power of the thought, the pressure calms down, and finally it gets dissolved. It comes to zero state. And that is the time again you can write a new script in your plain slate.
Benji, that is very encouraging when you say that we can learn new habit at any time, even when you become old. Still, it is possible. That is really encouraging. But let us talk about that important time period of life, that childhood, that molding formative years. What precaution should parents take so that they can instill good habits? Because it takes a little bit of care and attention from the parents also. Even though the child may have some inherent traits in him, still parents can do something about it.
See, in childhood, usually habits are formed by observation. Child will have less of choice, but more of observation.
Mhm.
Whatever that child looks around or observe in their parents, teachers, and relatives or friends, and the way the atmosphere is created at home, the food system that they have adopted, and even parents like father, if he is smoking, child will not say I have to smoke, but it just observes. When it grows 8th standard, 10th standard and above, then simply, oh, my father was smoking. Oh, there is nothing wrong, I can also smoke. There is no thought that it is something hazardous to health. Even if it is aware, that child thinks my father was smoking, so why not I? This kind of observation and following takes place automatically. in very few children, they observe, oh, my father was wrong, I should not do this. My mother was getting angry, I should not get angry. This much awareness will not come in younger stage. So therefore, in the younger stage, like what you are telling from childhood, parents should be very, very careful in their behavior.
So you mean to say that parents cannot do anything to instill good habits in the children. They can instill good habit in themselves and
Yes.
showing an example so that the child can learn.
Because in childhood, what you are telling is affecting less than what you are doing. Doing affects more than what you are speaking. Because child is very alert in observation, listening, seeing and learning, seeing and learning. That's why in schools we see for children they show. They don't say A for apple. They show apple and say this is what is apple. Like that, if a parent is a good example, then there is no need of teaching. It is a teaching.
So Benji, talking about the responsibility of the parents, now, can you give us some examples of some good habits which parents can form so that their child can learn beautiful lessons from them?
See, whenever problem arise, every family will have one or the other problem where they have to sort it out. Maybe somebody's mistake, it is maybe fathers or mothers or any relatives, whoever. So at that time, if father is shouting, mother is crying or getting angry, irritated or violent behavior, all these things one or the other way affects the child's mind. If at all it is happening regularly, then child's growth minimizes. Even physical growth as well as mental growth. Because there is a fear in the subconscious that even if I do some mistake, my father can beat me or he may behave like that to me. And because he is violently behaving with mother, it observes and feels sorry but can't do anything because it is too small. And even it wants to help, there is no way. So this kind of a peaceless atmosphere gives a very deep impact in child's mind, which affects the growth will be minimized.
I think Benji, what you are saying is quite true because we have recently had lot of studies in universities where they compared children both from houses where there is a loveful atmosphere and loveless atmosphere, and when they did the brain mapping, it was clearly shown in the brain map that those children who were coming from the loveless home, their brain growth was very diminished. So this is a very practical example of how detrimental a child can feel when they grow up in loveless home. So the best thing parents can do for their children is to have an atmosphere of love inside the family.
Loving and sharing and how they behave with each other also. That is very important because when they quarrel and getting angry, irritated, all these things, a kind of fearful feelings can take place in their subconscious mind, and as a result many children cannot get good sleep in the night and they can't concentrate in their study. And when they sit in the classroom, they are worrying about their mummy papa there. Today my father comes and what is that he is going to tell and what will be the next issue. So teacher will be teaching there and this child will be remembering after going home what is the scene going to happen.
So Benji, let us take the example of a child coming from a home where there is no love between the parents, father and mother. They are just staying together so that their child have a mummy and papa and nothing more. The love has been lost. So since you said it is an issue, an unsettled issue in the mind of the child, and he or she may not be able to concentrate in the studies. So what advice you will give to such a child?
See, if that child is able to come out of that situation mentally, because
how can he do that?
For which in Rajyoga meditation we learn to observe every individual as a player, every situation as the scene in the drama. At that time, that child also should have little connection with God, because still it has to live with them. He cannot run away from home. One thing, it has to remember God and say, God, please help them not to quarrel, and please give the power of peace to their souls. At least have contemplation like that, so that for few minutes that atmosphere can be charged with positive feelings. For that, the child has to practice every day at least few minutes of meditation. And this, of course, gives a very good effect and deep positive impact in child's mind. Looking at that child's stability, slowly these parents also changes. Like that we have seen many families.
Very encouraging episode of our life when children becomes a reason for the transformation inside the parents. Benji, can we have a quick reflection and meditation on that subject so that we can instill this habit in our own mind?
One beautiful thought we shall have today, that I am the bestower of peace. Visualize yourself as a shining star, master of this body and child of Almighty, the one who is the donor of peace and happiness, who constantly bestows, showers rays of peace and happiness to all souls. I, being the child of Almighty Father, constantly pass the rays of peace to all souls who are peaceless in this world. Whenever I see people are getting irritated, losing their peace, having violent behavior, I just try to spread the waves of peace around this atmosphere, so that slowly their feelings of peacelessness can minimize, and let their minds calm down, let their feelings cool down, and gently let them have the awareness that they are being of peace. I now practice talk with peace, observe everything in this world with peace, act with peace, share the vibrations of peace wherever I move, whomever I meet. This is my small contribution to create peaceful atmosphere in this world. Om Shanti.
Thanks a lot for coming over into the studio and giving those wonderful gems of knowledge as usual, and for the meditation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, dear friends, that was another wonderful discussion on the topic of practice. Practice makes us perfect, as the old adage goes. We need to have a little bit of determination, because at times the greatest tragedy of life is people just quit when another step might have given them the success which they want. So, let us not quit, let us continue the practice. New habits can be formed only through practice. Let us put a little bit effort into this most important area of our life, creating new habits. new and productive habits. And it is not such a hard work. If we can, as Behenji said, give a little bit of time every day, even 5 minutes for creating a new habit, it can add on and later give us wonderful result. So thanks a lot for joining today, and until we meet again for a new episode of Light of Knowledge, it is a goodbye from all of us in the studio.